Today we'll be discussing ideological criticism. The purpose of this video will serve as a brief overview of the rhetorical method of ideological criticism and its basic uses in research.
Here are some of the quotes to think about while learning about ideological criticism. Ideology can be defined as a pattern of beliefs that determines a group's interpretations of some aspects of the world, and it is focused on when rhetorical critics are interested in the rhetoric of artifacts for what they suggest about beliefs and values.
Here are some examples of popular ideologies. As you can see, there's a really large range. It's important to note, however, that ideologies can be positive and negative. For example, you could argue anti-terrorism as Islamophobic.
A quote to reflect on is, "Another way to think about an ideology is a mental framework that a group deploys to make sense of and define the world or some aspect of it." So in analyzing artifacts, the use of the ideological criticism is good at attempting to get to the deeper meaning of the ideology that is being perpetuated. This could be feminism, for example, if breaking down an artifact that pertains to inequality in the workforce.
There are a lot of different things that can influence ideologies. Here are some of the ones our textbook feels as most significant: hegemony, structuralism, Marxism, deconstructuralism, also known as post-structuralism, postmodernism, cultural studies, articulation, and feminism. The most common ones we see today are hegemony and feminism.
So, in order to write your paper, we recommend that sometimes you need to start backwards, starting with an ideology before you can select your artifact. Basically, anything can be used as an artifact for this method because ideologies are everywhere. Less obvious can be more fun. So, I'm analyzing Homeland for my final term paper and how it perpetuates Islamophobia in the United States.
The first step in analyzing the artifact is identifying the presented elements. The presented elements are observations about the artifact that are obvious. For example, if there's a picture of a shark, the shark would be a presented element. The second step is identifying suggested elements linked to the presented elements. The suggested elements in this case would be fear because sharks are portrayed as scary animals.
Next, what would happen is you would then formulate an ideology. As I had touched on before, if you're analyzing an artifact dealing with inequality in the workplace, your ideology would then be feminism. Your next step would then be to identify the functions that are served by the ideology, and we'll get into that a little bit more when we use our example.
So here is an Axe advertisement. Advertising Axe's shower gel. It features a man cleaning himself in the shower with the shower gel and a woman with whipped cream on her.
The elements presented upon observation of the ad are the male and female models. They're both Caucasian. The man is shown as clean while the woman is shown as dirty. The product is soap and she is using whipped cream. The suggested elements here are heteronormativity, single-race couples, cleanliness, which suggests purity, which is related to sexuality, and the product that is supposed to increase sexual pleasure.
So now we're going to get into formulating an ideology. So through this advertisement, you can clearly see that they are using the option of having sex sell. And this is through the objectification of women. So what this advertisement is saying is, if you buy this product, you will have more sex. And that's important because the more sex you have, the more masculine that you are. So then finally, we'll get into the functions that are served by the ideology presented. So the first being that men are expected to have sex and are viewed as clean when doing so, while women are viewed as being dirty. And we see this because the man, it says, the cleaner you are, then the dirtier you get. So he is clean through having sex, while the woman is inherently dirty at any given state. So next, we see that the final function served by the ideology of this advertisement is that people that engage in sex are normally white, heterosexual, attractive, and physically fit. So basically setting the parameters for what it means to be a person that engages in sex.
So then you analyze a research question. One example is, how does female sexuality sell men's products? And then you just write the critical essay.